We have 3 different types of kits. We have our Sew by Numbers kits, which you can see right here. We have our starter sewing tool kits, which you can see right here. And we have our embellish add-on kits, which you can see right here. Our first type of kit is a Sew by Numbers kit. It contains all of the pieces and thread and materials and elastics that you need to create your own garment. So if it's a scrunchie, you'll get elastics. If it's a bucket hat, you might get some interfacings for the brims, etc., etc. So everything that you need to sew an outfit in a box. Our Sew by Numbers markings are interesting because it allows you to hand sew an entire outfit if you choose to do so. I know that learning to sew with a machine can be pretty stressful and complex. There's a lot of settings that you need to learn, and sometimes you just want to sew on the go, you want to sew in an airplane, on your commute. So this makes sewing like a much more relaxing hobby, like maybe knitting or embroidery and more. So a bucket hat kit would be 16 of these pieces. A scrunchie kit would be one of our simplest kits, which is 2 rectangle pieces, and what you have to do is take a look at the marking, and you find the dots that are marked with the matching letters. You find A0, you find the other A0, Alfie, and you sew them together, and you basically connect the matching dots with thread, and you go in number order, so you do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way down until you're finished with all of the A's, and then you do the same thing with the B's. B0, B1, B2, and then you do the C's and then the D's, and you just go in alphabetical order, and it's very simple and intuitive, and most people get the hang of it in like 5 minutes. All of the different kits that we have in the works. This actually started out as like an engineering project. It was a coding side project before anything else, and I really wanted to make it easier for people to sew nice clothing, so I've been writing code for that for like 3 or so years, and got to finally turn it into a product and share it with the world. Each seam has a page, and you can scan it, and it'll take you to what's basically like a GPS, but for sewing. So I don't know if you can see this, but it takes you to this site that guides you through your custom garment, and each unique pattern, each unique garment kit comes with its own auto-generated instructions. So you can toggle the sewing mode, much like how you would toggle transport mode if you're using Google Maps, like how you can say you're walking or driving. Well, for here you can do the same thing, and you can say whether you're hand sewing or machine sewing, and it'll adjust your instruction, the estimated time for each step according to what mode you're choosing. So you can see over here, all you have to do is sew the seams in alphabetical order. For each step, if you hover over it, it tells you how you need to handle if there's any curves or corners, when and how to adjust the stitch length, the tension setting, which stitch foot you're supposed to be using, what type of machine needle and hand needle you need, the ironing settings. So we actually just used a couple of algorithms to calculate that for you, because I know getting the settings right on your machine is really tough and nobody likes that. Sewing GPS app is something that we're always going to be improving, designing better, but I think that this is a cool approach to sewing because I recently learned to drive, and honestly, driving and sewing feel mechanically pretty similar to me. Like the things that you have to think about while accelerating, it feels like I'm in a similar brain mode while driving and sewing. With each kit, you also get a booklet that gives you like sort of IKEA-like diagrams for how to sew each stitch that you will need. So you can see this is marked up a little because we're still editing it. For this slip dress kit, you're going to need a zigzag stitch, a back stitch if you're sewing by hand, a running stitch if you're basting. For each stitch, you can scan the QR code to see a really quick vertical style video of how to do it. Everything has a wiki if you want to look into. We only give you the information that you need to do it, but I know a lot of you are curious and want to learn more about a particular stitch, so we have more information here. If you want to discuss it, this is a QR code to our Discord channel, and it'll just automatically add tags to your message. And a Limelight is if you want to live stream what you're doing. This is a fun way to just scan this QR code and join a virtual hangout, which is fun. So this is the stitches diagram. That's kind of what the rest of our system centers around. We recommend getting a starter kit in addition to any garment kit that's purchased. We have a starter kit and a starter kit light. Sewing starter tool. Let me show you the box from If you want to highlights over here, how we have vertical style tutorial videos that are very short and kind of geared towards Gen Z crafting audience, because I know like sewing TikTok is a big thing recently. The starter kits, both the small and the large ones, come with a cheat sheet. You'll see that our garment kits have some symbols on them. We tried to make the symbols as easy to understand as possible. You have the dots that you want to sew through. We also have there's also some triangles that you need to cut out using your clippers. When you're sewing curved seams, it really helps relieve the tension. Anyway, we have a nice little menu to explain what symbols mean what, and it should be just really quick to reference. Nice and concise for someone who's not into reading. We have a welcome manual for all of our starter kits. It's just an introduction to like who we are, why we're doing this, a little bit about my story, quick links to where you want to go, how everything works. Oh, some quick tips on whether sewing by hand or machine is a better option for you. I feel like it literally kind of comes down to your personality type and whether you want to get things done fast or whether you're looking just for a slow, relaxing hobby, and it helps you figure out what to do. Some quick tips if you do decide to use a machine. It's just like a fun, friendly, picture-heavy introduction. I think the cheat sheet has most of the information for actually sewing. And then we have the tools. The tools manual is pretty fun because it just has all of the information that you need in a very concise form. Some quick words on how to use things safely. I hate it when different tools have like a trillion different names and it becomes really confusing, so we just help you out there by telling you other names for it, what general category of a tool it is, how to use it, and then we have the QR codes on the bottom, which is a quick, again, vertical video on how to use that you can watch from your phone. A lot of people lose these tools. Some of them are pretty small. Or if you run out of something like thread gloss, this is just a really convenient link for you to just reorder it. You can scan it and it'll take you to our site, item already in your cart. Very convenient. This will take you, again, to a Discord channel to discuss something if you need additional help, and the videos still leave you with some questions. And then, of course, this is, again, to join our Hangout. We actually iterated on the curation of tools over time. Make sure that we were getting the most user-friendly, self-explanatory, intuitive tools possible in most kits, but people kind of don't know what to do with them. They toss them to the side, but this has instructions right on it so that you can't miss it. Other examples, we did a bunch of research on which thimbles are best. For some reason, everybody's really into the mini iron. I personally like it for getting into the small corners, or if I'm using ironing tools like a tailor's ham and roll, it's just really convenient to hold the hammer, roll, or whatever tool with one hand, the iron with the other hand, and it's nice and light and portable, which is, it saved my life a couple of times on trips. And then there's a measuring tape. So once you're done with like your first scrunchie kit or bucket hat kit or just standard accessory kit, a lot of people want to move on to something more complex like a custom fitted garment. So I'll show you a walkthrough of how to go onto our site and take your own measurements and enter it so that you can get your own custom generated sew by numbers kit. Loop turners, just a lot of different tools for safety, ease of use, and how to just make your seams extra high quality. Okay, so that's our starter toolkit.